Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yes.
And this one is really fascinating.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking all about emotional self-awareness.
Mm,
Now, you might be surprised to know how impactful this stuff really is.
absolutely.
We're talking like better decisions, stronger relationships,
Yeah.
and even smoother sailing through all those stressful moments
It really does.
that life throws at us,
It
right?
makes a huge difference.
It's kind of like using this source material as a map to navigate our own inner world.
I like that, a map.
And what's really cool is that the source itself is actually structured like a podcast episode.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like a deep dive
Well,
within a deep dive.
A meta deep dive.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah, and I think that structure actually helps us unpack some pretty dense concepts here. To start off, I think we really need to define what emotional self-awareness actually is.
Okay.
Because it's more than just feeling your emotions.
Right.
It's about recognizing and understanding them. It's
so.
knowing the why behind what you're feeling
Oh.
and how those feelings are shaping your thoughts and actions.
So instead of our emotions just kind of sweeping us along, we're the ones in the driver's seat.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And that's where the understanding part becomes really key.
Okay.
And our source material really highlights that.
Yeah.
Self-awareness can actually help us improve our relationships.
Really?
And there's actually some fascinating research on this that shows that when people are more self-aware,
Yeah.
they're less likely to misinterpret their partner's actions during a disagreement.
That's interesting.
They're able to kind of step back, consider different perspectives, which leads to more constructive communication.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
If you're more aware of your own emotional state,
Right.
you're less likely to just like project it onto others
It's exactly.
or jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
But honestly, building that kind of self-awareness, I mean, it isn't always easy, is it?
It definitely takes effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
And our source material actually outlines a few common roadblocks.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is what they call emotional avoidance.
Oh, emotional avoidance.
Yeah.
I've been there
Yeah.
trying to like bury a feeling until it just explodes.
Right.
Like a shaken soda bottle.
Exactly. We've all done that.
Right.
The source material uses this great comparison
Oh,
of
right.
saying, I am angry
Yeah.
versus I feel angry.
Oh, I see.
And that first statement, that's over-identifying with the emotion.
Okay.
It's like you become the anger, you let it consume you.
Right.
But when you say, I feel angry, you're acknowledging it as a temporary state, something you can observe
Yeah.
without being completely overwhelmed by it.
That's such a subtle shift in language,
It is.
but it's so powerful.
It's powerful, yeah.
It reminds me of like how mindfulness experts talk about observing your thoughts
Yeah,
without judgment, right? You notice, but you don't let them take over.
right.
So how do we start applying that idea of I feel
Yeah.
to our own emotions?
Well, the source material actually gives us a toolkit of practical strategies
Okay, awesome.
to boost our self-awareness.
I like it.
One of the most powerful techniques is mindful observation.
Okay, mindful observation.
Yeah.
How would we explain that to someone who's never tried it before?
So think of it as like taking your emotional temperature
Okay,
throughout the day.
okay.
It's about pausing
Uh-huh.
to check in with yourself.
Got it.
You don't need a fancy meditation cushion
Right.
or a special app or anything.
Right.
It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before a meeting
Okay.
or just noticing how you're feeling
Yeah.
during your commute.
You know what I was just thinking?
Yeah.
I could see how existing routines could be really helpful reminders
Absolutely.
to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like you could decide, okay, every time I wash my hands
Uh-huh.
or right before I eat lunch, I'm going to do a quick mental check-in.
Yeah, build those little pauses into your day.
Exactly. Just those tiny moments of awareness
Yeah.
can lead to big changes, right?
Absolutely, over time.
Over time. Yeah.
But mindful observation is just one tool in the box.
Okay.
The source material also digs into a few other strategies,
Okay.
like journaling, identifying emotional triggers, and labeling your emotions with more specific language.
Oh, that journaling one sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
What kind of prompts does the source recommend?
Things like, what made me feel happy today?
Okay.
Or what situations drained my energy?
Oh, okay.
It helps you connect specific events to your emotional responses.
Right.
So you start to notice patterns, like
Ah.
maybe you always feel drained after certain meetings.
Interesting.
Or perhaps nature walks consistently boost your mood.
It's like you're creating a personalized emotional inventory,
Exactly.
right? You track your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can start to understand your own emotional weather patterns.
I love that. Emotional weather patterns.
Right.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And then there's identifying your emotional triggers.
Right.
The source material gives this great example. Why does criticism from my boss bother me more than criticism from others?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. It encourages you to think about why certain situations evoke stronger reactions than others.
It is fascinating how a specific person or scenario can trigger such a different response.
Right.
Even if the situation itself seems similar on the surface, right?
Exactly.
It's like there are these hidden layers at play.
Yeah.
And by becoming aware of our triggers, we're starting to kind of peel back those layers.
Precisely. It's like detective work for your emotions.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. You're trying to uncover those underlying beliefs or past experiences that might be shaping your present-day reactions.
Wow.
Once you identify those triggers, you can develop strategies for managing them more effectively.
I like that.
Yeah.
Moving from reacting to responding. Right. It's taking back control of your emotional experience.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And our SORC material offers one more strategy that I want to touch on before we move on, and that's naming and labeling emotions.
Okay.
And they suggest using tools like an emotion wheel to expand your emotional vocabulary.
An emotion wheel?
Yeah.
What that?
It's basically a visual chart that maps out a wide range of emotions.
Okay.
So going beyond just happy, sad, or angry,
Okay.
it helps you distinguish between more nuanced feelings like frustration, disappointment, or even contentment.
So instead of just saying, I feel bad,
Right.
you might be able to pinpoint it as, I'm feeling disappointed because, or I'm feeling overwhelmed because.
Exactly. It's like having a more precise language for what's going on inside.
Yeah.
The more precise you can be with your language, the better you can understand yourself and communicate your experience to others.
This is giving me so much to think about already.
Yeah.
But we've got one more strategy to explore, right? The one about seeking feedback.
Yes, that's an important one.
Okay.
The source material suggests asking trusted people in your life questions like, when I get stressed, how do I usually respond?
Oh.
Or what do you notice about my communication style when I'm feeling anxious?
That's a brave step.
It is.
It takes courage to ask for that kind of honest feedback.
It does.
But I can see how valuable it would be.
Yeah.
It's like getting a glimpse of yourself through someone else's eyes.
Exactly. It can highlight blind spots and patterns in your behavior that you might not even be aware of on your own.
Right?
It's like having a compassionate mirror held up to you,
Yeah.
reflecting back both your strengths and areas for growth.
Okay, so we've got this toolbox full of amazing strategies.
Right.
Where do we even begin?
Right.
Does the source material offer any guidance
It does.
on putting these into practice?
It lays out 2 specific challenges to
Right.
help you get started.
I love it.
A daily reflection challenge and a trigger awareness exercise.
Those sound like a great place to start.
Yeah.
I love having something concrete to focus on.
Right.
So what exactly do those challenges involve? Okay, so tell me more about these challenges.
All right. So the daily reflection challenge,
Yeah.
it encourages you to just spend 5 minutes each evening
Okay.
reflecting on the emotions that you experienced throughout the day.
Okay.
Like, what triggered those emotions?
Right.
How did you respond?
Okay.
So it's really putting those journaling prompts that we discussed into practice.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Even I can manage that.
That's not too bad.
But wouldn't it be easy to just kind of gloss over things
Yeah.
and not really dig deep?
That's where the second challenge comes in.
Okay.
The trigger awareness exercise.
Okay.
And this one encourages you to take a deeper dive
Okay.
into one specific emotional reaction
Okay.
that you had recently.
Got it.
Really break down the event.
Uh-huh.
What happened?
Yeah.
What you feel? And why do you think it affected you in that way?
So it's like taking a microscope to a single experience
Exactly.
to understand the mechanics behind it.
Yeah.
I like that approach
Yeah.
because it feels manageable.
Right.
You don't have to overhaul your entire emotional life overnight.
Right.
You just focus on one piece at a time.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as you start to understand your own patterns and triggers,
Yeah.
you might be surprised at the ripple effects it has on other areas of your life.
Interesting.
Our source material touches on this.
Okay.
It suggests that improved self-awareness doesn't just benefit you as an individual,
Okay.
but it can actually positively impact your relationships,
Wow.
your community, even the world around you.
Now, that's a fascinating thought.
Yeah.
How does this source material connect self-awareness to those larger scales?
Well, it poses this really thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
If we could all improve our self-awareness, how might that change our interactions, our communities, even the world?
That's a big question.
It is a big question.
But it's worth considering, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But think about how much conflict comes from misunderstandings and just a lack of empathy.
100%.
You know?
Imagine if everyone was more in tune with their own emotions and more understanding of how others are feeling.
Yeah.
We could communicate more effectively, navigate disagreements with more compassion.
Absolutely.
And collaborate more effectively.
Yeah.
It could even lead to more innovative solutions to global challenges.
So by becoming more self-aware, we're not just helping ourselves.
Right.
We're contributing to a more understanding and compassionate world.
Exactly. It all starts with that individual commitment for self-growth.
Yeah.
And the more people who embark on this journey, the greater the collective impact.
But it's important to remember that this isn't about reaching some state of perfect self-awareness.
Right.
This is about continuous growth.
Absolutely. It's a lifelong process.
Yeah.
And the path to greater self-awareness isn't always easy.
Right.
You know, there will be bumps along the way.
Sure.
Times when we fall back into old patterns.
Of course.
Or get triggered in unexpected ways.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
Because I think it's easy to get discouraged.
Right.
If you expect to master this overnight.
Of course, it takes time.
So how can we navigate those inevitable bumps in the road?
It's about approaching those moments with curiosity.
Okay.
Rather than self-criticism.
Okay.
So instead of beating yourself up for making a mistake, ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
Okay.
How can I use this experience to navigate similar situations more effectively in the future?
So it's about reframing those failures as opportunities for learning and growth.
Exactly.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off of needing to be perfect.
It does.
And allows us to embrace the messiness of the process.
Absolutely.
And it helps you build resilience too, right?
It does, because the more you understand your own emotional patterns, the better equipped you are to handle challenges when they arise.
Makes sense.
You can recognize those early warning signs, those little triggers that might send you down a familiar but unhelpful path, and then choose a different course of action.
It's like having a more detailed emotional roadmap.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. You know the terrain better. So you can anticipate those twists and turns.
Right.
And choose the route that leads to your desired destination.
Exactly. And as you become more skilled at navigating your own emotional landscape, you naturally become more attuned to the emotions of others.
Interesting.
You become a better listener. A more compassionate friend. And a more empathetic leader.
It's like those skills start to transfer to all areas of your life.
They do.
Right. And it creates a positive feedback loop.
Oh, wow.
The more self-aware you become, the stronger your relationships.
Yeah.
The more effective your communication.
Right.
And the more positive impact you have on the world around you.
Okay. I'm officially inspired.
I love it.
Where can our listeners go to learn more about this?
Right.
And maybe even start their own journey of emotional self-discovery? So many great resources out there. I mean, where would you suggest people start?
It depends. You know, some folks, I think, really love guided meditations. Or journaling prompts.
Right.
Other people prefer, you know, diving into books or podcasts about like the science of emotions. The key is to just find what sparks your curiosity. And what motivates you to keep learning.
I think it's important to remember, too, that this isn't about becoming some kind of emotionless robot.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding our emotions.
Not erasing them.
Exactly. Emotions are what make us human.
Right.
You know, they give our lives color and depth.
Yeah.
It's just that without self-awareness, those emotions can sometimes drive us in directions we don't necessarily want to go.
Right.
Self-awareness gives us the ability to choose our course.
Like having a steering wheel.
Yes.
Instead of just being tossed around by the waves.
That's perfect analogy.
Right.
As you become more familiar with your own emotional landscape, you'll naturally become more adept at navigating the emotional landscapes of others. They'll develop a deeper understanding of why people react the way they do.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you understand how your anger or sadness or joy operates, you're more likely to recognize those same emotions in someone else, even if they express them differently.
100%. And that increased empathy can have a profound impact on your relationships. It can help you communicate more effectively.
Resolve conflicts more constructively and build deeper connections with the people that you care about.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on what it means to be emotionally intelligent.
I'm so glad to hear that. It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Yeah, this has been great.
And remember, the journey of self-discovery, it's an ongoing one. There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to understand about the incredible power of our own emotions.
And if you're just starting out on this journey, don't be afraid to ask for support. Find a therapist, a coach, a trusted friend, or even an online community where you can connect with others who are also exploring this path.
Having that support system can make all the difference.
It really can.
It helps you stay motivated, celebrate your victories, and navigate those inevitable challenges that arise along the way. I think that's a perfect note to end on. This has been an incredible deep dive into emotional self-awareness.
It has.
We've explored the why behind it, uncovered practical tools for building it, and even glimpsed the transformative power it can have on our relationships and the world around us.
It's been a true pleasure sharing this journey with you.
Likewise.
And our listeners.
And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights from this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Remember, emotional self-awareness is a journey.
It is.
Not a destination.
Keep going.
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Keep learning and keep growing.
Yes.